again, we're going down the road. We picked up a truck in Florida, a bucket truck, utility company bucket truck, and we're taking it to Connecticut, just outside of Hartford, Connecticut. And while I have your attention, we're driving down the road with not much else to do. The phone's in a caddy, and I've got a wire earpiece in, so there's no danger of me holding the camera or wrecking the truck. So let's talk about haul and tow. I'm a drive-away driver, so I take anything with its own motor and it goes down the road by itself. Usually because it's too big to haul on a trailer or a low boy or anything else. It's too tall or too wide or whatever. A haul and tow is a truck, and it can be a fifth wheel crew cab or no smaller than a 3/4 ton, but that's dangerous. I like dual wheels under all my loads. So they're going to haul your fifth wheel trailers, which are those multi-axle long trailers with a gooseneck on it that fits into the bed of the truck. That's a haul and tow. They hook up to it and they drive it to the destination. Some of them have a gooseneck trailer that they will haul those little small fold-up campers or those little small shell campers. And they'll haul, I don't know, sometimes 4 and 5 of them on one trailer. Only drawback to that I can see now, I'm no expert on it, and I'm going to find you somebody that is to explain haul and tow to you. But the problem that I see with it is you are only paid by the live mile. So you pick up a load, normally in Elkhart, Indiana, brand new trailers, you put 5 of them on your stackable drive-away haul and tow trailer, and you take them to Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Now, you have to turn around and drive your butt all the way from Fort Lauderdale back to Elkhart, Indiana. So you can take that price, and I don't know what the price is, I'll get it for you. You can take that price of hauling them down there, and you can pretty much cut it in half. So you can also take your pay and cut it in half. Now, the haul and tow drivers that I've ever talked to, they're absolutely in love with the idea of haul and tow. That's the only way to make big money. They are set on how much they're going to make by the mileage, and I'm not sure how they charge for each unit. I'm going to have to get that to you, but they have nothing to haul on the way back, so their price is cut in half. And your public transportation drivers that take buses and trains and taxis and Uber, they claim that's the only way to make real money because you don't have a car or a truck to maintain all the time, and everything, you can write everything off. Well, pretty much you can write everything off in any one of these transporting businesses. You and your spouse will never have to pay taxes again, income taxes, because you write so much stuff off, and living out here on the road, as the tax laws go, you can write off meals and so much entertainment per day. I think it's $10 a day. Showers you can write off. Any tools that you bought, any wear and tear on the vehicle, and you get that by mileage. And some of the miles on the tow cars that I do is right now 51 cents a mile. And if you're doing anywhere like 80 to 100,000 miles a year, that's $50,000 of deduction. There's no way you can even just use that up, regardless of the meals and hotels and stuff like that. So everybody has their own spin on it. I myself love to run a vehicle, a towed, because once I get to Fort Lauderdale, if I have to, I'll sit right on my butt and go fishing for a day, wait for something else with a low deadhead to get me to the next truck. If I have to drive, I pretty much, if I got to go over 200 miles without being paid for the deadhead. Now, some companies, when they want the truck, will pay you to drive that deadhead. And I've run into one company, but I didn't stay with them long because it's hard to get paid, that will pay you every time for a deadhead. They calculate 35 cents or whatever it is, 25 to 30, 40 cents on a deadhead, which pays your fuel money, which helps the pain. Anyway, I don't know where the hell I'm going with this thing, but so the public transportation, they don't get any deadhead. They don't get paid for the time that they're not driving. So to me, that's taking money out of your pocket if you're out there on the road and not being paid for it. But I'm a cheapskate. Now, I'm running through big spurts. Two of the companies that I work for move brand new tractors for tractor trailers, like Freightliners, Volvos, Max, Pete's. But every once in a while they'll lower the price and the company won't take them anymore. But when you run them, you run a lot of them. And you see those transporters that are what's called decked. So they look like a bunch of trucks humping each other, and they're all piggybacked. And up to 5 vehicles I've seen, especially out west. Not so much on the east of Mississippi, but out west, they'll run 5 trucks decked together. That, my friend, is a dangerous load. Only when you come to try to stop it or go around something. If you're going to go around something, or you're sleepy and start to whip down the road left and right, the whip on the end of that 5th tractor is phenomenal, and it will roll the whole rig over. And to get them stopped, that can be tough, because you have brakes on that first unit. All that I know of, the brakes are not on every wheel. So you're trying to stop that thing like a bicycle. You're trying to stop it with only front brakes. But I'm no expert on that either. But I do know that they bring in the foreigners to run those loads. So they'll run you to anywhere in the U.S. and Canada. And I've moved a lot of them coming out of Mexico, but I pick them up at the border. You'll see them move those, and then they fly them back. Well, to somebody from a third world country, that is heaven on earth, because you're flying in an airplane, your meals are all covered, your hotels are covered. They'll send them out, pay hotels and meals, but to my understanding, they ain't making any fortune driving those decked trucks. Yes, they're making a living, and to them, they're becoming a millionaire. But to anybody else, that's a tough life. And it's also public transportation. Now, I myself love moving bobtails. Bobtails are those tractors without a trailer, and they run down the road, and they have more horsepower than you possibly can ever use, especially on slippery roads and stuff. The problem is they have tons of horsepower, but no braking power. There's no way to stop them effectively, because they've got monster brakes to stop an 80,000 pound load. But you haven't got 80,000 pounds on there. I mean, you haven't even got 10,000 pounds, because you don't have a trailer to hold those rear tires to the ground. And if it's a single axle, it's really freaky. So people underestimate that because you can do 70 miles an hour in a flash, that you can stop 70 miles an hour. You cannot. And with a bobtail, with no weight on the back to hold the unit down, it's very tough to go around anything. You'll see people driving these things on 2 wheels, mad dogs, driving them down the road. They're straight asking for trouble. Bobtails are fuel efficient because there's no weight on them and lots of horsepower, but you cannot stop them. In the wintertime, they are just nothing but danger to drive. Now, I know you all know this, but I'll say it anyway. The legal limit for a truck without a permit is 13 foot 6 inches. Now, anything over that, and it's 108 inches wide, or that would be 10 foot 6. Anyway, anything over that's got to have a permit, and you've got to stop in the scales as an oversized load or have an escort. I don't do any of those unless I totally have to, or the dispatcher slides one in and doesn't tell you. On the commercial vehicles, it's pretty much written on that dashboard somewhere. So you want to, one of the first things you want to check is what's the height of your unit, the traveling height. All right, not the height it reaches, but how much, when it's all folded up, how tall is it? Now, a couple of little things. if the person that finished with it last didn't fold it up all the way, it's no longer 13.6. It can be 14.6 tall. The bridges, when they do really fancy bridges, there's an arc in them, and the side of the bridge can be sometimes 12 foot, and you're 13.6. And if you think that people don't make the mistake of running under too low a bridge, especially east of the Mississippi, there's some old railroad trestles that are only 10 foot too tall, and you're driving a 13.6 vehicle. That bridge, that old railroad bridge in the dark, is going to hit that truck just about the center of your windshield, and they plan it so it's just at the underneath your chin. That bridge is going to take your head off. And this happened. I mean, if you don't believe me, when you go under the next overpass, look up to see how many people hit the daggum thing. Also, you have to consider that they pave the underpasses. Usually you put 6 inches of asphalt down the road. Well, if they pave that thing twice and didn't change the sign, it's no longer 14.6. That bridge is only 13.6. And if you go under it and hit a bump, you're going to connect with that bridge. I've only hit 2 bridges in my time. One was with a bus and an underpass, and I just had to creep under it and let the air out of the suspension to make it under. The other one I broke down with a heavy crane, and this crazy jockey in the wrecker picked me up and started down the road. Well, the daggum crane was already 13.6. He goes off an exit and goes to the underpass to get turned around. And as he's coming up on the bridge, I'm in the front seat, and I says, you know, the height of this crane was 13.6. Well, man, he crams on the brakes just in time to slam into that bridge with the boom. And I mean, it shook that bridge. I don't know if it damaged it or not, but he lowered the thing down enough to get under the bridge so the crane's almost dragging on the ground. Drives underneath it, raises it back up, whistles a little tune, and down the road he went. I'm just glad I got out. That was in Longview, Texas. I'm just glad I got out of that without the bridge falling down on my head or killing us all. If he'd been doing it 50 miles an hour, we'd have all probably been dead by now. But just so I'm just telling you, learn. One of the places in your brain should be watching the height of bridges and staying away from the edge of the bridge, especially when it curves in. Sorry for just rambling on about incoherent stuff, but I sort of have to jump this in when I think of it.